Pad Ones. It's Mrs. R here, or also known as Ray, coming to you live from her kitchen to do another cooking class. So, Padawans, let's get to it. We're going to be making pad thai. I try to get kids to try something different. This might be something you've never tried before. Give it a whirl. It's great. I am going to let you know right off the bat that it has peanut butter in it. So if you have a peanut allergy, you can replace the peanut butter with Wow butter, and it tastes perfectly fine. It's a very yummy dish. It actually only costs about $10 to make for a family of 4. So let's get started. First and foremost, make sure you talk to a parent about using the stove. Second, make sure your hair is up just like me, Ray. And wash your hands. Always washing your hands really well. Today we're going to be working with a little bit of raw meat. So it's really important that you wash after you touch that raw meat. So I'm getting in all the little grooves here. I'm going to take my rings off and put it in my dish so they don't get all gooky with raw meat. All right, let's get started, Padawans. So remember, the first thing that we're going to do is read the instructions and then look at the ingredients. The first thing it says, combine all ingredients into a medium-sized bowl and mix well. So here's all the stuff that we're going to be using today. It seems like a lot, but you actually don't use very much of each thing. I did start with a pot of hot water here. I'm going to get it boiling so we can put our noodles in when it's ready. You're going to put about 6 cups of water into the pot and let it boil. It's already on and going, so we're going to get started with making the sauce. I'm going to put it in this. I just like putting it in here because I find it easier to pour when we put it into the other pot. So the first thing it says, combine all ingredients into a medium-sized bowl and mix well. First ingredient, peanut butter. Again, you can use any peanut butter that you want. I'm just using this natural crunchy one. If you want to use a smooth peanut butter, that's totally fine. And if you have a peanut allergy, you use the Wow butter. So I'm going to get 1 tablespoon of peanut butter. Remember, TBS means tablespoon. I'm scooping it in. I'm going to bring my bowl right over so I don't. There we go. And I brought a paper towel just for this reason because I'm not wearing an apron today. Oh, and I have my little Wookiee with us cooking as well. Okay, 1 tablespoon of peanut butter, 3 tablespoons of soy sauce. Again, it doesn't matter what brand of soy sauce you use. I'm using this no-name brand. I'm going to use the peanut butter one. It doesn't really matter because it's all going into the same bowl. So I'm holding my tablespoon above my bowl, so if any spills, it's going where? Right into the bowl. That's right, young Padawans, that's right. 3 tablespoons, so there's 3. Put your lid on it just so it doesn't spill. 1 tablespoon of sriracha sauce. I'm just using Frank's Red Hot Sauce. If you like it really spicy, I always suggest put in 2. I'm not going to make a very spicy one, so I'm just going to put in 1 tablespoon. This will give it a smidge of spice, but nothing crazy that you can't handle. 2 tablespoons of lime juice. Again, I'm just using a no-name brand lime juice here. 2 tablespoons. 1, 2. And you can get lime juice in much smaller bottles. I think they're usually around $1, maybe $1.50. 1 tablespoon of olive oil. Again, you can use any olive oil that you have on hand. So I'm going to put 1 tablespoon of olive oil in there. Like so. And now I'm going to give it a mix. I'm going to get it. Spatula out, and I'm going to mix that up. So there is our sauce. You can see right now that the peanut butter is a little bit lumpy, but it'll start to dissolve the more you mix it around. Here's the fun part about pad thai. You can make a vegetarian pad thai quite easily, just don't add meat. You can add pork, you can add beef, you can add chicken, and that's what we're going to be adding today is chicken, and lots of times you're going to see that pad thai can have shrimp added to it as well. We're not going to add shrimp, we're just going to add some chicken. So I have that all nice and stirred up there. I'm going to get my chicken. Where did I put the chicken? Oh, there it is. I'm going to get my chicken here. And I'm going to turn my frying pan on to a low heat, probably around 4. I don't want the chicken to burn. I'm going to put just a tablespoon of olive oil in the pan for the chicken to fry up in. So the most important part of the chicken is to make sure that it's cooked. So as you can see right now, it's pink. We don't want pink chicken when we're all done. We want to make sure that it's nice and white. So I'm going to take my chicken. I have 3 different cutting boards here because I'm going to use a different cutting board for my meat. I don't want to use the same cutting board for other things. So I'm just going to cut up my chicken in small chunks, like so. Please be careful when you're cutting, and you're always looking at where you're cutting. You're not looking at your friends or your family members. You're looking exactly where you're cutting so that you don't cut your finger. And you're going to make little cubes about that big, okay? So it's just going to take me a minute here to get this cut up. And you can put 1 chicken breast in, you can put 2 chicken breasts in. Really, you can put as much as you want, or like I said, you can use beef, or you can use pork, or you can use shrimp. I'm not a big shrimp eater, so I'm not using shrimp. The rest of my family loves shrimp though. So maybe one day I will surprise them and put shrimp in it. Alright, we almost have this cut, and as you can see, I am using a different cutting board than what I'm going to use for my vegetables. I just don't want that raw chicken all over everything, and I'm going to use a different knife as well. And as soon as I'm done cutting the chicken, it's extremely important to make sure that you are washing your hands so you get all that chicken goop off of your hands. You also don't want to touch a bunch of stuff with your chicken goopy hands. So I'm really only touching the chicken with one hand. I have a clean hand here that I'm using the knife. I'm going to pop that in the pan. I'm going to put this in the sink. Again, I'm going to give my hands a quick rinse, get any chicken goop off of me. There we are. And then we're going to grab another cutting board. I'm going to put this guy out to start stirring my chicken. It's going to take a couple minutes for this chicken to cook, but that's okay. While it's cooking, we have other jobs to do. So while that is cooking, I'm going to get peppers. I'm going to start with an orange pepper. It really and truly doesn't matter what color of a pepper that you use. I have a clean knife and a clean cutting board. When I cut a pepper, I cut straight down the middle like so. I open it up, and then I just take out the seeds and the guts like that. Now, once you have that part done, it is extremely important, again, to make sure that you are washing your fruits and vegetables, because we don't know what has touched this or where it's come from. So we want to give our vegetables a nice washing off. Make sure anything that was on there is on there. Oh, I gotta fix my band here. Coming undone. I don't know how these Jedi warriors do this all the time. Alright, so I have my pepper. I'm going to cut it in long strips. Again, I'm looking at where I'm cutting, and I'm not chopping. I'm sliding my knife across the board. So I'm sliding. And you want to keep your fingers in that curl position, so when the knife goes down, you're not cutting off a finger. If your fingers are like this, you have a better chance of cutting off the end. So you want to keep that curled kind of look with your fingers, and you're just sliding across just like that. I'm going to just make mine in little cubes. Again, I have my fingers curled under, so I'm not cutting any fingertips off. Perfect. I'm going to get rid of this bowl. It had the chicken in it, just to get it out of the way. And it does call for 2 peppers. You can put as much as you want in it. And quite frankly, you can put whatever vegetables you want in it. I've actually put spinach in it before. You get to be as creative as you want. Let me know your creativity. I look forward to hearing it. And I've loved all of the wonderful ideas so far. Next week, I think we're going to make a lovely treat. One student had suggested making ice cream sundaes, which would be delicious. And somebody else said chocolate chip cookies, so I thought maybe next week we'll combine them and make chocolate chip ice cream sandwiches. Why not live it up? All right, so we have our pepper cooked. I'm gonna push that over to the side. I'm gonna grab another cutting board and I'm gonna put some garlic in it. So we grow our own garlic here. You can buy garlic like this. It's usually about $1 or $2 for a bag of it already peeled, or you can buy the garlic that has the peelings on it and just peel it off, or you can buy already minced garlic. It really doesn't matter how you do it. I love garlic, so I'm actually gonna put like 4 cloves of garlic in this. You're just gonna cut off those little ends, as you can see. So this is garlic from my garden last fall, or spring I guess it was, and it's still really yummy. So when I'm cutting this again, I'm having that curled finger, and I'm just dragging towards me until you get smaller chunks. When you get it a bit like that, you're going to hold your hand flat on top of your knife, and you're going to start mincing your garlic. Now, you may have a garlic press, and that is totally fine to use as well. We have a garlic press. I personally don't like using it because I hate having to clean it. I find this just as easy. I'm going to give our chicken a little stir here. You can hear it starting to sizzle. And as you can see, it's starting to go white there, and that's the color that we want it all the way through the chicken. So I'm going to give it just a little stir, keep that cooking, like that. On there, and I'm going to go back to mincing my garlic. So you're just going to wipe it off your knife, hold your hand flat on top, and mince your garlic. And you want your pieces pretty small. We like garlic. You might not want to put 4 cloves in. It's a lot, but we love garlic in our family. So I tend to put lots of garlic in it. And if you've cooked with me before in the classroom, you know that I always put garlic in everything, and typically hot peppers, but I'm not putting hot peppers in this recipe today. And I probably won't put it in the ice cream sandwich recipe either. There we are. I'm going to put that into my sauce here. I'm just going to mix it up a little bit, like so. And then I can move this. Actually, I'm going to use that for the onions. I'm going to give my chicken another stir. It's cooking up quite nicely here. Still pretty pink, so we need to get it to continue cooking there. All right, now I'm going to cut up my green onions. These we're going to save until the end. We're not going to put in right away. So I'm just going to cut off those ends, like so. Move those to the side. I'm going to give my green onions a little rinse. I did wash them earlier, but I'm just going to rinse them again, just to make sure that they are clean. There we go. Give it a little shake of the water off of it. And I'm going to chop up these onions pretty small. These are going to add a little bit of flavor and a little bit of color to our pad thai. Again, I'm curling my fingers and I'm dragging my knife across. I'm not chopping. I don't want to hear people doing this. No one is a master chef yet. That doesn't mean you're not going to be, because I see a few of you cooking and it looks amazing. So I'm keeping my fingers curled and I'm dragging the knife towards me, just like that. So I have these little pieces of green. And you want to get the green stem parts of your onion too, because that's the part that adds the color to the pad thai. I typically use most of the onion. There's nothing wrong with the onion up here. It's actually quite yummy. All right. There we are. So now we have that. So we have everything all ready. All we're doing now is just waiting for this chicken to cook up, and it's almost there. My water is boiling. I have the little bubblies going on in there, so that means that it's boiled. So I'm going to put in 1 package of rice noodles. Now here's the trick about the rice noodles. They don't take that long to cook. When you're opening the rice noodles, it's sometimes easier just to cut the package. So cut that open. You're going to use the whole package. Again, it doesn't matter what brand of rice noodles that you use. They're pretty inexpensive as well, a couple dollars for a package, and it actually makes quite cute. When you're putting them in the pot, please be careful to not just drop them because you're going to get splashed. I just set them in like so. You can see they've kind of gone into the water. And then you want to give them a quick little stir so that they don't burn to the bottom. They only need to cook for about 2 to 3 minutes. So we'll let those cook there. I'm going to check my chicken here again, which is looking fantastic, as you can see. There's a little bit of pink there, but not too bad. So I'm going to add my peppers. And like I said, you can add different colored peppers if you'd like. I'm just going to add orange today. There we go. Now, some people add egg to their pad thai. You are more than welcome to add egg if you want to. I'm choosing not to add egg to this recipe. I think it tastes perfectly fine without the egg. It's looking beautiful and colorful. I'm going to give those noodles a quick stir again. They are almost ready. So you can see they're pretty stiff still. We want them to be a little bit softer, but we don't want them to be mushy. And it's very easy to overcook the noodles. So I'm just going to grab a strainer really quickly. You guys keep an eye on the chicken for me. Perfect. All right, young Padawans, how's the chicken looking? Good? Awesome. So you want to make sure that your chicken is cooked. The best way to make sure, look at your pan, try to find the thickest piece of chicken. So I'm going to go with it. This is one of the thickest pieces I have in here. I'm going to put it on this board because I'm done using this board. And I'm going to take my knife and I'm just going to cut through it. You can see that it's white, and that's exactly what we want. If it's even the slightest bit pink, it needs to cook a little bit longer. But again, you don't want to overcook your chicken because you don't want it to be tough and rough. So that is looking perfect. All right, I'm going to just check my noodles. Oh, these are perfect. You can see that these are perfect. So if you have a set of tongs like this, just take a noodle out. You can get a hold of one noodle. Be careful because they are hot. Set that over here. And just see if it rips apart pretty easy. And that did, so that tells me that noodle is perfect. So I'm going to turn off my burner. Make sure you're always turning off your burner. I'm going to turn my chicken down just a little bit because we don't want it to overcook. When I'm pouring the water off of my noodles, I want to make sure that I'm pouring away from me because I don't want to burn myself. So look, I'm pouring away from me, so I'm not going to get splashed with the hot water, okay? I'm going to take that off. Don't put it back on your burner that was still on because your noodles will automatically burn the bottom of your pot. I'm going to pour those in there. Put my strainer there. And now, give my chicken one last stir with those yummy peppers. And I'm going to turn that burner off as well. Bring this over to the middle and put it in the big pot here. Again, try to turn it away from you so nothing is splashing and getting you in the face. If you need help with this, just ask an adult to give you a hand. I'm going to put my pan back on the burner that wasn't on so nothing sticks to it. And as you can see, I have that all in there. Now, I need to add the yummy sauce, okay? I'm going to put this in here. I'm going to sprinkle that all around or pour it all around. Scrape out my bowl here. I can put this back on the burner just so it cooks up a bit. And you're just going to give it a quick little stir. Now it gets a little tricky to stir with the spatula, so I tend to use the tongs again. And this mixes it all in. Really nice. Perfect. So once I have that all ready, this is when you can add your green onions to it. So we're going to just put that in there. And I'm going to show you what this looks like in a minute. This is a yummy dish. My kids absolutely love it. I think it's my husband's favorite dish. And he gets very excited when I'm going to make pad thai. All right. right, let me grab a plate and I'm going to show you what this looks like on a plate, all finished. Here we go. I can take my tongs here, bring my plate right over. Ooh, it's heavy. Pop that on there. And there you go. You have a yummy pad thai. Now I'm going to give you a little tip. When I make this, I actually always double the recipe for the sauce because we like ours a little bit saucier. I didn't do this one extra saucier because I wasn't sure how you guys were going to like it. So try it like this. If you think you need a little bit more sauce, double everything that it asks for the next time that you make it. So if it called for 1 tablespoon of peanut butter, you're going to put 2 tablespoons of peanut butter or wow butter, whatever you're choosing to use. I hope you enjoy it. May the 4th be with you, Molly Brant students, and I can't wait to see you. Enjoy your pad thai. Look forward to seeing you next week.